This video is a companion piece to my other video regarding Malazan Book of the Fallen, where I talk about misconceptions and concerns that a new reader might have with tackling a series of that size and depth, right? And maybe you watched that video and thought, man, that guy really likes Malazan, I better check it out myself. Well, good for you! In that case, I got you with some good tips on how to get through the series. Let's get to it. The first tip is don't expect to know everything right away. You're going to be confused. There are simply too many moving parts, too many characters to keep track of, too much deep lore, too much weird magic going on. You're not gonna know everything off the bat. So if you're the kind of reader who wants to, I have to know what warrants means before I can continue on, well, then the series is probably not for you, I'm not gonna lie, because things will make sense at the end, towards the end, but it's, again, there's a lot of books and they're all long. You have to really like the series, you have to like going through it. If you just read it to understand or to be the kind of guy who has read Malazan, then you're gonna break, man. It's not gonna be fun, and you probably should do something else. There are people who has read the freaking series 10 times and they still find new things, right? You're gonna miss stuff, and that's okay. Right? It's fine to wonder and to think, oh, I wonder what this is. Maybe later I can find out. But don't be too stressed about it, please. The second tip is a risky one. It's have the wiki close to you, right? When I read the series, I had the wiki on my computer ready to instantly just type out a character's name that I'd forgotten. Of course, there's a chance that you might get spoiled, but I do find that wikis are good at hiding spoilers, and it's more for your own sake. Having it there makes it so every time you stumble upon a character who you're like, I don't know who this is, and then you kind of look him up and you see that, he was the guy from book 1, that one time where he had that one line. Isn't that fun that he's here 10 books later? For me, it's kind of fun to get a visual on the characters too, because I'm not really a visual reader in that sense. So having this little fan art on the wikis kind of helped me. Where I'm like, he looks like that. Isn't that interesting? It can also be helpful overall to just kind of look like, he's in book 2, and I'm on book 4, and I didn't recognize him then because he had a different name back then. That guy here is actually the same as this guy. He just was called something else in that book. And again, that recontextualized the whole series, and to me, I think that's what's so fantastic about it. But it's a great effort, but don't be too... The third tip is don't try to have everything understood the first time around, or while you read. Don't be that guy who has all the crazy lines from all the pictures, and just enjoy the reading, because you might not know every single event or character motivation or moving part. You're not going to, and I don't think you can ever do that even by reading it 100 times, right? So what you have to do is you have to just read through, just keep reading, and know that at some point you'll get it. Not unlike I know every single information, I know every single character, every single motivation, but more on an emotional level. You know what the story is about. It's actually about compassion deep down, and characters will start to make sense, not because you know their inner thoughts, but because you connect to them emotionally. You want to see them succeed, and you're sad when they die, and you're sad when they fail, and you're happy some people fail, and you're happy some people die, right? Some characters are dickheads in this series, right? Who deserve really, really bad things. Some get bad stuff happening to them, some don't. Some deserve them, some doesn't, right? It's life, and it's messy, but you just have to keep going through without trying to stress over understanding. I realize now that this tip is oddly close to tip number 1, but tip number 3 here is mostly about the stress of having to know everything that's going on chronologically. Just let go. It's about releasing control. This series is about releasing control, if anything. Number 4, have a companion piece. I really like watching Philip Chase and AP Canavan, aka A Critical Dragon, talk about the series. They have great non-spoiler and spoiler discussions, and when I was going through the series, I really liked how I knew there was going to be a good discussion waiting for me at the end where I could kind of make sense of some of the things I've missed and some of the thematic stuff that I didn't really catch the first time. Especially A Critical Dragon has so many Malazan analysis videos, and it really helped me in my journey with the series. He also has a thing for analyzing the prologues, which on a first read might seem very weird since they are so random and doesn't seem to fit thematically at all, but you know, of course they do. It's Malazan. Everything matters and nothing is random, even though it seems like it. There's also the podcast 10 Very Big Books, where a guy named Peter, who has read the entire series, is reading them with his friends, and they have a lot of discussion, they have a lot of fun, and it's just, that podcast is so good because the other members of the cast, it's their first time reading it, and they're as confused as I was, and it's just hard knowing that you're not alone. Like, oh, I am not in fact an idiot. It's not my fault for not understanding this. It's just kind of written in a little bit dense way, so it's not me. At least, it's not all me. The last tip is take your time. Don't try to binge read this, please. There are so many characters. It's so deep. It's so dense that you might just run your head through a wall. And, you know, doing that will not grant you a hole in the wall. It'll just kill you. When I read the series for the first time, I read the first book, and then I took a long break, and then I started reading Deadhouse Gate, the second book. I didn't really connect with it. So I only read about half, and then a year later I picked it up again, and then I started reading the series again, properly. So don't give up. Take your time, take breaks. I know people say so much happens in Malazan, so if you take too long a break, you're gonna miss and forget stuff. I find that that's not really entirely true unless you take 5 years between each book. But in that case, that's probably not optimal at all, right? But it's fine to take months. The thing about Malazan is that it's kind of addicting. I haven't really read anything that's like it. So I'll read one of the books and be so satisfied and so full because it's so heavy and dense that you don't feel the need to continue right after. At least I don't, right? But then as time goes on, you kind of get the itch. Because Malazan scratches a particular itch that no other fantasy story does. And I don't really know what it is. I don't know if it's probably a combination of a lot of things, but I really like coming back to it. Which is also why I'm making my way through Esselmon's spin-off books of the Malazan story. I can't wait. I'm starting with the Dancer's Lament, that one. And stay tuned for that. My last tip is actually to have fun. You have to read stuff you really like. If you find it grueling, hard, annoying, if you don't have any motivation to read it at all, don't torture yourself with it. It's too long. It's not gonna get any better if you don't like it by book 3. Life is short and you have to read books that you actually like. It's not worth it to just plow through. But I will still say it's very rewarding finishing Malazan. For my money, there is no better series. Sure, there are so many annoying things like you're moving continents and POV and you introduce new characters all the time and you have to wait to see the characters you like again. But at the end of the day, we all read for fun and it should be fun. So my last tip is have fun with it. Bye.